Welcome to the Achieve Your Apex podcast. We're diving into chapter 8. My name's Chad Hyams. If you're new to the podcast, I wrote Achieve Your Apex. We hit bestseller. Thank you to everybody out there who was involved in making that happen. And on this podcast, we're going deeper and deeper into the concepts that I put into the book, diving into them more. And now we're on chapter 8. Now, I'm also interviewing some great people along the way. So if you are new to the podcast, scroll back. Go all the way back to the beginning. Check out some of the interviews, check out some of the content, and of course, get yourself a copy of Achieve Your Apex, which you can find on Amazon or achieveyourapex.com. Now, I said we're jumping into chapter number 8, and chapter number 8 is about relationships. I said that right. Hopefully you heard it. I spell it a little funny. It's REAL relationships. That's right, real relationships. Because so many of us have a lot of fake relationships. A lot of us have acquaintances. A lot of us miss out on true power of having relationships. And I want to talk to you about a few things in this section of the podcast. We're going to talk about how to develop some relationships. We're going to talk about how to create them, how to nurture them, how to go to that next level, systematized, even in real relationships, okay? We're also going to talk about leadership and community because those go together. And in every community, there's a leader. Now, there might be a leader when you're doing something, and then it becomes a different leader in that same community when you're doing something else. I don't know, yet there's always a leader. And I wanted to share about one of the greatest leaders of all time, who some of you don't even know his name, and that's Mark Messier. Now, if you know his name, you immediately went, yep, got it. If you don't know who Mark Messier is, he's a hockey player, an NHL former hockey player. Mark Messier played for over 25 years. That is a really long career in the NHL. And he's the only player in the history of the NHL to be the captain on 2 different Stanley Cup teams. Is it a coincidence? Not at all. You see, Mark has gotten nicknames along the way of the Moose and the Messiah, because Mark was such a powerful leader because he had relationships with his teammates that they followed him willingly. They followed him without question. And Mark was such a leader that he even put the team on his back, did the biggest mistake you can ever do in sports, and guaranteed a win to the media. That's right. During the Stanley Cup playoffs in 1994, Mark Messier guaranteed. Holy crap, 1994. That's so long ago now, and it feels like yesterday. He guaranteed a win. And what did he do? He went out and he won. Now, he didn't do it on his own because he had relationships and a team around him. Yet he went out and scored 3 of those goals to make sure the team was going to win. And again, he has become one of the most powerful leaders in sports. And then he put out his memoirs. That's right. Years later, Mark Messier finally wrote his memoirs, and the title, No One Wins Alone. That's a leader, and that's a guy with relationships. Now, sometimes relationships might not be as real as we want them to be. Maybe you saw the documentary that Alex Honnold did on Free Solo, where he climbed El Capitan at Yosemite Park with no aid. Now, you can be sure he had a relationship, whether he did or didn't really, yet he had a relationship with the climbers who had come before him. Others that had laid the groundwork, others that had climbed it and said, this wall is climbable, others that had taken ropes up, others that had found the best path to go, others that had discovered things that Alex was able to build upon. We can have relationships with people we don't know. We can have relationships with people that have come before us, like-minded people. And in Alex's case, he literally achieved an apex. when he climbed to the top of El Capitan in Yosemite and has now created the opportunity for others once he's proven what is real. So I want you to understand that relationships can be real. Relationships can be built upon a foundation. Now, you might not have a great conversation with someone who is a former person that you're having a relationship with, yet you can get into their writings. You can get into their recordings. You can get into videos. You can get into the lessons they have left behind us. And yes, you could have a relationship with some of those key people that were out there. I want you to understand how important relationships are, and extra important, how relationships are extra important. I think I said that twice, and well, who cares? They're that important. What I want you to understand is what Mark Messier titled his memoirs: No One Succeeds Alone. So how do you take leadership lessons like that of Mark Messier and bring them into your relationships that you have? How do you take the experiences of what Alex Honnold did and take that into community and relationships, creating a path for future people, creating a path that you follow from others? How many things have you developed, worked on, grown with someone that you would say you have a relationship with, and they might not even know who you are? Because relationships can be one-sided. Now, in our future episodes here on chapter 8, I'm going to show you how to make sure they're not just one-sided, because there is a proper place for them to be one-sided, where we're having a relationship with someone from history. We're having a relationship with someone who's left breadcrumbs for us. And we're having a relationship with someone we don't even know yet, because they're going to follow our breadcrumbs. Yet I also want you to make sure that you have relationships like Mark Messier was able to show, where he was able to lift up a whole group of people because he had such a strong foundation. That's what we're going to help you achieve here in chapter 8, and I can't wait for it. So stick with me for these next few episodes as we dive into creating real relationships. And I know there's someone out there that probably should be listening to it with you. So send them the link. Make sure you subscribe and don't miss a single episode coming your way. Until our next one, keep climbing.